Hey, y'all, welcome to another episode of the Wednesday podcast where we make a big deal about the small victories in our life. Positivity is a powerful tool to create a healthier life, physically, emotionally, and most importantly, spiritually. That is why every Wednesday morning you can expect to hear me, Matt, and my beautiful wife and co-host Heather talk about the wins we had the week prior. Let's go ahead and jump into this week's episode. All right. Hey, everybody. This is episode 1, season 1, very first episode ever of the Wednesday podcast. We want to make sure you understand it is all about wins. And that's what we're going to be talking about on this podcast. It's me and my beautiful wife, Heather. And this is show number 1. So I want to start out and just ask Heather, why do we want to do this podcast?
Because it's something that we can reflect on the fun and funny things that happen in our weeks. Because I feel like we have a lot of fun things that happen that nobody's around to witness. And it's just fun to reflect on. Maybe other parents can relate to our
and we do
chaos.
Have a lot of fun. And so it's exciting to be able to get to share with people. Also, we just... kind of a goal of mine, and I guess since we went to ministry school a long time ago, which really wasn't that long ago, one of my encouraging teachers, Bob Turner, said something in one of our classes that's always stuck with me, and it's the idea of being a positive maniac. And Heather and I strive to do that. While there are some times where we don't always remain positive in situations, but that's a goal of ours all the time. And I think a lot of times we focus on the losing aspects of our week. But this podcast, and hopefully it'll be an encouragement for you out there too, to focus on wins and think about small victories. No matter how small they are, a victory is a victory. And we just want to bring some positivity into our own lives, our own marriage, our own parenting, and everything that we do. And I know Heather's super upbeat and positive all the time, so she should be really good at doing this podcast. But yeah, that's why we want to do this, is to inspire y'all, to inspire us to just focus on being positive.
Yeah, and not to mention, if you watch the news, there's never anything positive on the news. And so... I don't know. We just need some more positivity.
Hence why we don't watch the news at our house all that much. So
ever.
That's a little bit about this podcast. We hope you'll tune in each and every week, Wednesday morning, to just be with us. And as we talk about our wins, and hopefully you can be thinking about the wins you've had in your week and express them to somebody around you. Talk about those positive things that are happening in your life. So I hope you'll tune in every Wednesday morning and listen to the Wednesday podcast. Okay, so we're actually going to go ahead and do episode 1. You now know kind of why we want to do it. Heather's laughing at me because I'm awkwardly segueing into things, but she gets to answer our first question for the week. And that question is a hot dog a sandwich?
I don't know. No, I don't think a hot dog is a sandwich. I think it's in its own category of things. Because, I mean, a cheeseburger and a hamburger are their own thing. So
Okay, are a cheeseburger and a hamburger a sandwich?
No, a sandwich is like a PB&J or turkey. But it's also the type of bread you use. Sandwich bread.
See, but bread is the same ingredients all the way around.
No, because hot dogs use buns, so it's a bunwich.
No, they're sandwiches.
No, a hot dog, since they're on buns, why don't we call them bunwiches?
We should. And that's why the reason I saw this was we want to always start with a funny question. And did you know 54% of Americans actually believe hot dogs are sandwiches?
Well,
so
they're wrong.
We're not in the majority. I do agree. I think hot dogs are hot dogs. So
they're bunwiches.
Yeah. So they are bunwitches. All right. That takes us to what are our wins of the week? I'll let Heather go ahead and start us off with, I guess, our biggest win of the week.
Okay, biggest win of this week so far is our tiny child. She's been stopped up for like 5 days now, and she is not stopped up anymore. And I don't know about the rest of the world, but I've never had an enema, but my child has.
Our tiny child, her name is Josie, and Josie has almost a fear of poo-pooing on the potty.
Well, now she has learned that if you go poo-poo on the potty, you now get a present. And we call that a poo-poo present. And so she got herself a poo-poo present.
Hello.
And she is out of bed to come tell us. Josie, what did you get for poo-pooing on the potty?
Hello.
What is that called?
A mermaid.
A mermaid. But what do we call?
A mermaid Mixie.
Oh,
A mermaid mixie. But that was a definite positive, major, huge win because she was miserable for about 2 or 3 days. And so parents know if you have miserable children, she is 3 years old. So a miserable 3-year-old makes a miserable household. She was not sleeping for the 2 nights before that. So she got to go take a trip to the doctor. And apparently she did really awesome at the doctor.
But, instead of that saying happy wife, happy life, it's really happy toddler, happy life.
Mommy, I want to try.
And so, yeah, now it's time for Josie to go to sleep. So we will get back with our more wins of the week. All right, we are back and Josie-less. She is having a problem of missing out on podcasting. So they are both of them. We have an older daughter, Georgia, who is 7 years old, who they are both not shy of cameras or a chance to talk in a microphone. But yeah, so major win, number one is getting a healthy 3-year-old again. Ever since we came back from our Disney trip a couple weeks ago, she has been stopped up for a while. So very awesome. My win of the week was, if you know me, I'm not much of a reader, but I was able to complete 2 books already for 2024, and that's probably more books than I've read in a very long time, books outside of the Bible. And so this past week I finished a book I was reading, Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, which people may have seen out there. Very thought-provoking, very awesome book. Heather's actually probably going to read it soon. Lots of cool stuff to talk about in that, and hopefully some stuff we'll put into our lives. And then I also read it's like a historical fiction book, I think, Stars of Alabama. I think the author Sean Dietrich. He's a really cool writer. I love story books like that, so really fun to read that and just accomplish reading a book. I don't do that often, so for me, being the ex-football player person, reading a book is like super exciting.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so Heather's like the super studious one out of us and super smart, and so she's reading all the time. All right, you have any more wins for our week?
So every year, I've kind of got this new list of books that I think are deemed readable. Like you read them over again once every year. And one of those books is that Holy Haigua. I call it
Good
Holy
luck.
Hy-Vee.
I don't know.
Well, I really like that book. It's just got some great ideas in it for having people in your home and making it affordable, because sometimes we do try to make that one of those things where it's like, oh, my house isn't clean, or I can't afford to have people over. And she just kind of helps you see that it doesn't have to be so difficult. And so that's one that I got a win, and I got to read a large chunk of it while I was at the doctor's office in the waiting room for like, I don't know, felt like 10 years, but
It certainly did, because I was at home with Georgia, and she was gone a while. So, but that is cool,
But
because,
it's a win.
and more power to Heather. And because what's the normal thing you can do sitting at a doctor's office for so long? Probably scroll Instagram or Facebook.
watch Bluey
Yeah,
on
or
TV.
yeah, watch Bluey. But yeah, more power to her for doing that. That's awesome. So just throw a book in your back pocket or something if you're going to the doctor's office.
I mean, it was better than like listening in on other people's conversations.
That's probably what I would do.
Question. Is it eavesdropping or eavesdropping?
Being nosy.
Because I was thinking about that while I was in there, and I meant to ask you if that was a Heatherism or if it was just...
So let me explain to everybody Heatherisms, which if I was a smart man, I would have started a book on Heatherisms from when we got married. I was a cattle rancher for the longest time when we first got married, and Heather was a self-proclaimed country girl when we met and got married. And so she came out there and grew up around cows. And she always thought, now we have to also understand, Heather and I are from the deep South, where people's accents aren't always understandable. And
we take so many letters out of words to where you no longer know
Or
what
add
was the
random
original
letters.
word.
And so we were going through a process of weaning cows, weaning the calves off of cows. And she had asked me, she goes, "Are you winging cows today?" And she threw a G in there that I had no idea that people thought there was a G in there before. And I said, what did you ask us? Are we doing? We don't wing a cow. We actually wean the calf off of them. And so there's been so many more and now that we live in Alabama and we're back where I'm from and we're around people with Southern accents again, I totally understand how hard it is to understand people. Mess up names all the time. I mess up words all the time just because of I don't understand what they're saying. So, no, we don't wing cows. And I think it is eavesdropping. Let's just go with being nosy.
Well, so my win was I had peaceful reading in the doctor's office without being nosy.
And how, like, you just think about, I mean, being at the doctor is not fun, period. And especially taking your 3-year-old, and especially taking a 3-year-old to a doctor's office in the middle of January when how many people in there were sick?
Well, actually, none of the kids in there sounded sick, but the adults that were with them were like coughing. And I was just sitting there texting Matt, like, the plague is in the parents, not the kids.
Oh, see, and that's like, and we had just gotten back again from Disney where Josie spent half of her time licking the chains and the ropes
She
and all
licked
the lines.
Every chain, every germaphobe probably would have like died on that trip with us if they had seen my child do that, because she legit licked every chain.
And that is a legit win in itself. Like, we didn't, Heather's snorting on the microphone, and we didn't get sick, knock on our kitchen table wood. We didn't get sick coming back from that. I mean, we didn't get sick right before going to that. Sometimes we always get like, we like stress ourselves out to the point of sickness because we're so amped up to go on a vacation, since we don't take vacations very much. And none of us got sick. So that's a major win as well. And I don't know, we just have a lot of wins, and we like telling people about them. And sometimes even those not so fun times, it's good to find those wins, like getting to read a book for an hour and a half, which for Heather probably doesn't happen very often. So,
No.
because she is a hardworking stay-at-home homeschool mom. And so, yeah, I mean, those are awesome, just wins to have in our lives. But yeah, you have any more wins? I can't remember.
Yeah, we cleaned our house together, and it looks great.
And we didn't have a meltdown from any kids. We cleaned the house, got the kitchen cleaned up. We're recording this at our kitchen table, which is awesome. And then we got to do our Bible time, which we're going through the Biggest Story Bible from Crossway with our girls right now. It's awesome because they do a video. I don't know how to put it. A video series. They put videos to each of the chapters. So what I'll do is I'll read the chapter to them, and we'll talk about it, and then we'll get to watch the video on our TV in our living room, and then we sing songs like the Apostle Song. And
so it kind of helps with different learning styles of each child.
Because,
so it's really cool.
Yeah, a 3-year-old is hard to keep attention.
When you're reading.
Yeah, when you're reading and she's wanting to go do something else. And so she likes the songs. Georgia likes the reading and the learning and the pictures and the videos. So, but yeah, I mean, that we got through another night. That's something we've really, I mean, personally, me, I've tried to make a focus is getting a good routine, rhythm, in our Bible time. And so we've done, that book has helped, and also we do other stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's
a win.
Yeah.
We've been consistent.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is a win, because there's some nights where we're just tired.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. Sometimes we're just tired. So we've been really consistent, and that's a win.
And we got to eat jalapeno cheddar deer sausage tonight, which is from Heather's dad's house. We went down there over Christmas break and I got to do hunting. Georgia tried to hunt with me for
all of 2 seconds.
It was probably 30 minutes. And she thought Grandpa was coming, and Grandpa wasn't there. So Dad was not that cool to sit with in the deer hunting stand. So she went back, and I went back too. And then I went hunting the next morning and was able to shoot a doe. And we now have jalapeno cheddar deer sausage, which I grew up on and Heather grew up on, and we haven't had that in forever. So our freezer is stocked with some jalapeno cheddar deer sausage, and I'm excited to have people over. And I don't know of any wild game processor around us that makes that. So
they need to get it together.
We had to go to Florida to get it. So yeah, we lots of wins, lots of positive stuff going on. But
yeah,
we're going to be talking. Heather came up with a cool segment tonight also, Would You Rather? And that's always a game we like to play. Now, these are harder questions, but we play this during supper time when Heather makes us a really good meal, like deer sausage and green beans, and we'll talk to the girls and we'll ask questions. But most of the time it's, would you rather go through a tornado or a hurricane? Or
they always ask the same one.
Yeah. But Heather came up with some cool questions for Would You Rather tonight.
Okay, so would you rather be baptized by John the Baptist or hear Paul speak to a crowd about Jesus?
No doubt, I would rather hear Paul speak. Reason number one, Paul is a champion in my mind. He would be, I don't know, it'd be fun to listen to. I love reading his letters. I love just reading about Paul. So getting to hear him and, I don't know, be around. I mean, you talk about a podcast about focusing on the positives. And then you start to think about Paul, who is like Mr. Positivity. When you start, I'm doing a series on Philippians right now, and you just think about Paul and how he's going through stuff in his life, yet he's positive. And I don't know, it'd be fun to be around him and see him just preach, especially with all of his Jewish background and his training and all that. I wonder how.
Be pretty cool.
So what would you rather do?
So ever since The Chosen came out and how they portray John the Baptist as Crazy John.
Yeah.
Every time I read about John the Baptist now, I think about Crazy John from The Chosen. So I'd almost want to kind of see what he was really like.
Yeah.
But then again, I'd rather hear Paul.
Yeah.
Okay, so
hold on. I want to know though. All right, this is weird, but did people stink back then like we stink today?
Duh.
But did you like? Okay, like
Oh,
there was
well, they
one
didn't
day.
shave.
Well, there was one day we were on vacation, and I forgot my deodorant. Like that's a pretty distinct, and thankfully I have like the deodorant that never goes away, so I didn't smell it all. But
Well, Georgia told you stink.
it wasn't me; it was somebody else. So, but like, do they notice that stuff? I mean,
Or
they
was
didn't
it
have
just
deodorant.
like everybody smelled the
Yeah.
same, so you didn't really care? Or
That's what
did
I'm
they
saying.
take like mint leaves or something and rub them on their armpits?
I mean,
I
where
mean,
are they
that
getting mint
sounds
leaves
good.
from?
I don't know. They probably did. They had all sorts of
Like,
other.
they had stuff. They had their
things.
ointment stuff, perfumes.
Yeah, see? Perfumes.
Um,
That'd be some expensive deodorant.
I would be stinky being as big as I am. So I get to do the next one. All right. So would you rather? And y'all feel free to, when you're listening to this, ask these questions to people around you. These are always fun to ask. Would you rather hide spies in your house, all right, like Rahab, or hide a baby from Pharaoh?
I don't know. I'd probably want to, well, knowing the outcome of,
Think about both consequences.
yeah. Probably hide spies in my house so that I could be spared. Because hiding a baby from Pharaoh isn't as weighty of a thing as the entire city coming down and you in it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get away with hiding a baby from Pharaoh, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, that's true. There's
Josie's
Josie
back.
again. But yeah, like, I mean, you think about though, like how, I mean, both consequences are probably death if you get caught, but technically you're right that Rahab, it's a lose-lose if she doesn't. I mean,
Yeah.
either she doesn't hide them and she gets killed by the Lord's army coming in there and destroying the town, or it's the town destroying her for not, I mean, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, I think it'd be, I don't know how intense. I mean, you also got to think like during Moses' time being hidden, how many kids or how many Israelite people or, you know, God's people were in Egypt at that time. Like
A lot.
I can't imagine they're just going door to door checking, but they probably were. So
I just think about that Prince of Egypt movie and how they made that
which
movie
was the better
so
reward
intense.
though? Rahab or
Well, Rahab's like,
Moses' mom. All right, we are back, and I have no idea where we left off. I think it was with
would you rather?
hiding the spies. And so, I mean, I don't know. I don't know which reward would be.
Or instead, which time period would you prefer? Would you rather be with the Israelites still in Egypt, or would you rather be in Jericho?
Conquering. I don't know. It'd be cool to see the walls come tumbling down without having to do anything. That'd be kind of sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it'd also be interesting to see 10 plagues happen.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of feeling that. That'd be fun to see.
Some frogs, some blood, some wildness.
Yeah.
All right, last one. Would you rather have seen the Red Sea being parted or Jesus walking on water?
Red Sea being parted.
Why?
I don't know. I picture it being super cool. Like those,
Now remember, you have like the Egyptian army trying to come and kill you.
I know, but obviously they didn't get too far, but still, how cool would that be?
That would be super cool.
And just sit there and think about, like, how do they not stay faithful after seeing all that? Like,
Yeah. Well, and
you
then you
just
think
wanna
about
smack 'em.
you think about the apostles when they saw Jesus walking on water, they were terrified.
Exactly.
And it's like, why would that not like increase your faith? But I guess I'd be pretty freaked out too if all of a sudden the guy I've been following around for a while is like walking out to me in the middle of the Sea of Galilee.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That would be, I mean, I would like to see the Red Sea parted. That'd be pretty sweet. Just how was it like a massive event? Like some movies show where it's like two massive walls of water, or was it just like dried up?
I don't know. I'm picturing
Was it like-
massive walls of water.
Yeah, was it like parted, or is it just like God dried it up with the massive wind that came
Like,
through?
did he just recede it enough
Yeah,
to where
they
it
could
was like
walk.
shallow, like a sandbar all the way across? Or was it like,
Sandbar, good word. Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like it'd be more impactful
to see that.
to see the walls.
Yeah.
And knowing how, like, they go and look now, and you see all these documentaries about the Egyptian chariots at the bottom of the
By
Red
the way,
Sea.
everybody, Heather is a
I love me a documentary.
history documentary buff. So she is, if she gets the remote, we're watching some sort of historical documentary about something.
Yeah, Tombs of Egypt, you name it.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
Well, and we found out Bible Land Passages, which is a cool historical documentary about the Bible lands that we know. Some of the people that are on it is on Amazon Prime Video now, and so she's like,
And VidAngel.
"Can we watch that?" And I'm, "Yeah, let's watch it." So I like watching that stuff, but not it.
I like being able to have a visual in my mind when I'm reading.
Could just pay to go over there.
Yeah, we could. When do you want to do that?
Well, while, but yeah. But then what is a show we're watching right now
Oh,
besides
How do you
Bible
say
Land
it?
Passages?
how do you say that?
Poldark.
Is that
Poldark.
Poldark?
So yeah, we
So
try to watch
awesome.
a show together at night as we're winding down. Or if Heather's reading, I'll try to read too because I don't want to mess her up reading, so I'll read too. But sometimes we like to watch a show together. And right now we're watching this show called Poldark.
And if you're like an Outlander fan or like ever watched Outlander, then or into that time period, then you would be all about Poldark.
And the cool thing about Poldark is, I think it's cleaner.
It's way cleaner
It's a
than Outlander.
BBC produced show.
Yeah.
And we just want to preface this. Heather and I, we have what's called VidAngel, which is a streaming, I don't know how you would describe it, a streaming censoring app
Yeah.
that we watch all of our shows through, which is, I would encourage you, if you're a Christian family out there that loves to watch shows that have good storylines, but they may have bad parts in it, whether it be bad words, bad stuff.
Literally anything can be
Yeah.
filtered out
and
of
they
it.
can filter that for you. That way you don't have to be on the pause, on the ready or anything if your kids are around or something. So VidAngel is awesome for that. And we watch all of our shows through that, even if our kids aren't around us, just for our own personal benefit. And
Yeah.
we don't have to do it. So we're watching Poldark through VidAngel right now, and it's really fun because Heather and I both jam out to that time period / Scotland, that type of
The UK.
just that countryside. Which, if we ever had the chance, we'd probably want to take a trip to Scotland. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see those little towns over there, and it's like, this is cool. I'd love to see that.
But the whole movie is based out of Cornwall,
Yeah.
London, or UK, United Kingdom, right?
You said Southwest England or something last night? Southwest,
Wherever
East.
Cornwall is, but it's on that coast.
Yeah.
But it's so pretty. And you can actually go to all the places that it's filmed at because they're historically owned places that they filmed it at, which is really cool.
Well, and just thinking about, like, the show's premise is about this one guy, Ross Poldark, that he's kind of the rebel who hangs out with the commoner people and marries the commoner girl. And we're not far into
like,
it.
it's really, there's funny parts to it.
Yeah, but it's like wild how I like the funny parts where they just even how the commoner people talk versus
The ritzy
the
people.
hoity-toity folks. I feel like me and Heather are the commoner folks. When we talk to some people and we're like, we have no idea what words you're using right now. And, but yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's crazy to imagine the class system they had back in the day where it was like, we don't even.
Like, there truly was, like, true separation between your servants and your...
Yeah. And, like, they're we don't talk to them if, they can't. Oh, they said something like, something about feeding them. If they can't get the need, then they don't need to be fed or something. I don't know. It was like, man, that's wild that it was like that back in the day. So I don't know. It's a fun show to watch. We like it. There's some love story in it. There's also historical stuff. And I like the Ross Poldark dude just because he's like...
He played on Lord of the Rings as one of the dwarves. So that's really cool.
The
Hobbit? Lord of the Rings? Hobbit.
That's, The Hobbit.
Right? Which one was he on?
The Hobbit. The Hobbit came before the Lord of the Rings.
It was The Hobbit.
One of the dwarves, yeah.
That's right. So if you're also a Lord of the Rings Hobbit nerd, like we are, then you'll be excited to see that he's like the starring person in it.
Yeah. What are you watching out there? I don't know. We try to find shows that are like that. I don't know. We've tried some and been like, no thanks. We've tried others and been like, that's fun. I know The Chosen season 4 is coming out.
Yeah.
A lot of people are excited about that. It's in movie theaters now.
So is it like the whole season is at the theater? Like, how long would that be?
I've seen some people post about it, but
I haven't looked into it yet.
Yeah. Well,
to see how long it would be to go and
that would be wild.
Sit through it the whole season.
Or maybe it's just like episode 1.
Oh, that would probably make more sense because they're like an hour-long episode.
Yeah.
So it would probably be just one.
Yeah. I have literally no idea.
I don't know. Anybody gone and seen it in theaters?
I think it just came out not long. I don't know. But speaking of posting, Heather has an addiction to sending me reels throughout the day. And I have an addiction of sending her ones back. Most of them are either parenting reels or the competition between sourdough and yeast all over Instagram.
It's like becoming like a war on Instagram of sourdough versus yeast. And so many people are like in an uproar over the people who are like, I'm just here to say that you can keep your sourdough. Yeast is better. And then you have like 200 comments in the thread that are like, I can't believe you would say that. And then they start listing out all the health benefits. And then you have the people that are like, my sourdough is 200 years old. And all she said was like, I ain't got time to
feed a starter
every day. Yeah. So I'm going to stick with yeast.
I will admit though, okay, what do you like better? Sourdough bread or yeast flavored bread.
I mean, if I could make sourdough myself, I haven't gotten that far yet, but I feel like I need to master one before I start the other.
She's being very humble. She's a master baker of many different
But bread is
carb
not.
loaded.
I do love me some carbs. Carb is a carb. That's the thing. Is sourdough is awesome,
It's a better carb. It's
but
delicious.
it's still a bread. Either way, it's going to my thighs. Either way.
Here's the reason I like sourdough. And I know this is weird, but we just had a loaf of sourdough that she got from one of the grocery store bakeries, and
It's nowhere near as good as
I
the
know,
real
but
stuff.
for some reason, like you put butter on it, you put it in the toaster oven, sourdough just crisps up like beautifully on the edges, and it's awesome. That's why I like sourdough toast, and I like that hint of sourness.
I just like homemade bread in general.
Yeah, homemade stuff is cool,
It's so good.
and Heather loves to do homemade stuff, which
I
is
just
awesome.
now started the whole homemade bread thing, but I haven't done like a sandwich bread. I've
Yeah.
only done like in homemade oatmeal honey bread, and that was really good. That was
was.
more like a breakfast dessert side bread.
And the girl's biggest complaint was Georgia got mad because the honey was making her hands sticky,
No, she doesn't like honey,
and she doesn't like honey.
which is weird. How do you not like honey? I love honey. I've never heard somebody say they don't like honey. So
Yeah. I mean, it was good. I liked it. I
I
we
liked
crushed
it.
it, put some butter on it, and then Heather made apple butter, and we put that on it, and it was awesome. So, yeah, I mean, like, who cares? Sourdough, delicious. Regular bread, delicious.
Just bread.
Yeah.
Just give me bread. I love it.
That's yeah.
But
That's
it's so fun to just watch and scroll through the comments of all the arguments people will start having. And it's like, she just stated her opinion. You don't have to sit here and give her a sourdough lesson. Because you're not going to teach somebody sourdough in a comment thread.
no, and
That's a lot of work.
yeah, and that's mainly what you see. I feel like is like how long it takes, or
Yeah.
you just have to feed like the sourdough starter's like an animal. Like
Yeah.
you have to take care of it every day. of
It's so
feeding
crazy
it.
that it like eats itself or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea how that.
I'm not gonna act like I know sourdough. So
I don't know,
we're
but
gonna
it's
get sourdough
it's so
people to tell us what's wrong with our commenting on sourdough.
yeah. Somebody will tell us and correct us and laugh at us of our knowledge or lack thereof of sourdough.
Here's the positives out of that.
Just
You
eat it.
got bread.
Yeah.
Eat the bread, put some butter on it, slap a piece of cheese on it. If you like, oh, Heather did. I sent her. So this is why I like Reels, is because they have legit recipes on
Yes.
Reels. And so we've been doing these homemade soups, and one of them is the like butternut squash mixed with feta.
Yeah. So you just roast your squash, your butternut squash in a Dutch oven with a square of feta in the center, and you cut a whole garlic. You cut the top off and lay it face down, and you roast it at 400 for an hour, and then you put it either immersion blend it or put it in a blender, and you just add your vegetable broth, and
Well, and here's why I
that's
like
like
it.
It's so
Because
easy,
Heather's not a huge fan of feta to begin with.
but it was really good.
Yeah. So
I don't really care for feta,
I love feta.
but it was good.
Fetasthebomb.com. And so that's why
It's like a weird texture.
no. It like I'll eat it on salads. I'll eat it whatever. I love feta cheese. So any excuse to have feta is always a positive for me. So
Yeah.
any more wins for the week? Any more positivity? We've gone 40 minutes, which to me, that seems like awesome for our first episode of we kind of came up with this. We've been wanting to do a show for a really long time together. And one of the things we always talk about in our marriage is how we can always be positive. because there are times when we get negative and it infects everything in our life. So we love talking to each other and we love talking to other people. So we thought, well, why don't we just do a podcast? We've been wanting to do one for ever since we probably got married, I guess, or been in ministry full time. And so we hope that you'll enjoy this podcast too. If not, I guess it's an excuse for me and my wife to talk together for an hour with microphones in front of our face. So we don't really care anyway. So we get to spend time talking to each other. But yeah, I mean, that's our first episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for just hearing us be weird and positive and talk about random stuff. I guess that's really what this podcast is going to be about, is
randomness,
our life, and the positive things that can come from maybe even a 3-year-old not being able to doo-doo, and what positives we can find from that. So, you have anything else?
Let's go watch a Poldark episode.
That sounds good to me. Well, thank you guys for listening this week. We pray that you will be positive, and we hope that you'll have a blessed week.